Welcome to Palm Harbor Local, the podcast dedicated to building community and sharing inspiring stories from the heart of Palm Harbor. I'm your host, Donnie Hathaway, and today we are joined by Dr. Michael Becker, who's the owner of Aligned to Thrive Chiropractic right here in Palm Harbor, Florida. Now, Palm Harbor Local is all about spotlighting individuals and businesses who are making a difference, overcoming obstacles, and fostering connections right here in our hometown. If you're passionate about growing together, getting involved, and celebrating the people who are making Palm Harbor thrive, you're exactly where you need to be. In today's episode, you'll discover how Michael was introduced into chiropractics and some common misconceptions about chiropractors as a whole. And we'll also talk about Michael's journey as a chiropractor and why he's set up to serve the Palm Harbor community. Now, don't forget to connect with us on Instagram at Palm Harbor Local for behind the scenes highlights and join our weekly newsletter at palmharborlocal.com. Now let's dive in and build community together. Dr. Michael, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you for having me.
I'm excited to chat with you. We were just talking and you know, I've had lots of conversations with chiropractors and stuff, and everyone's got their different approach and different philosophies and stuff. So it's always great to have multiple conversations, right?
Totally.
But I want to start with your background. Like, what got you into becoming a chiropractor?
We say chiropractic chose us, not the other way around. And yeah, I have a story. So when I was going through puberty, I had something called idiopathic transient toxic synovitis. They're like, look at me like,
yeah,
what?
More. Tell me more.
Yeah. Idiopathic, meaning they don't know what caused it. Transient, it went from right hip to left hip, different bouts, different cases of it. Toxic synovitis. So my synovial fluid, or like the ball and socket kind of lubrication of the joint, was overproducing, was causing pressure to the nerve into my femur, and it was excruciating pain. I remember waking up and just like no change of pressure, couldn't even open my mouth, like everything hurt.
Wow.
And went to the hospital. I had to get carried downstairs, all this, and laid up in the bed for days, and all these tests, MRIs, CAT scans. They thought I was faking out at some point, and taking a huge needle and sticking it into that ball and socket joint to try to pull some synovial fluid out to culture it, hence the idiopathic. It wasn't bacterial, it wasn't viral. Going through puberty, I guess my body was kind of flipping out. And no answers. And my mom luckily worked for a chiropractor at the time. And she called him and was like, hey, we don't know what's going on. Could you come check him out in the hospital? And he agreed and kind of gave me a little side posture hug, and woke up the next morning and like no pain.
Wow.
Like weird, gone. I had a fever. My body was attacking itself, and like no fever. Got up, was able to walk to the bathroom, no problem. And just opened my eyes. It was like, hey, there's something more to the body. And I thought the medical field had everything figured out. And to be there and to see that, just thrown everything at me to no resolve.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, wow, this is cool. This is something I'm interested in. And throughout my life, he's kept nudging me into chiropractic, and here I am looking to buy his practice. 20-something years later.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So like once that happened, did you know like, okay, this is what I want to do with my life, or was it's still like built on top of that?
It was always in my head.
Yeah.
And then I was going to college, and I was talking about wanting to do research and, figure stuff out. And life came about, family, friends dying, just crazy stuff. Just really kind of slowed me down and made me think like, why am I here? Like,
Mm-hmm.
And found philosophy, and then always had chiropractic in the back of my head. Like, as a philosophy major, what are you gonna do? Teach or write a book?
Mm-hmm.
Which, like, cool. So I went to continuing education for chiropractic. My mentor was like, hey, come out to Orlando, sit in a class, see if you like it.
No experience with chiropractic other than just being a patient at that point.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Okay.
Yeah, and so I just drove out to Orlando, sat in on a class, and they're talking, the spondylosis of L5 on L4 can cause a spondylolisthesis, and I was just like, what? You know, another language was being spoken. And I was like, okay, don't know why I'm here, but I gave it a whirl. I sat in a class, and I walked around the little market or booth, people selling things, and Life University was there, and I signed up for my email, and they kept calling me every few months, and I had graduated college, and they kept calling, and they're like, hey, come check us out. And I was like, you know what, this would be a good idea. And saw the school, fell in love with their philosophy. Like, as a philosophy major, I could see where they sourced all their philosophy and how it tied together, and just felt like that was it. Like that was kind of like, okay, like, but it was always there in my mind. So to have that, like, momentum, that right time, right place, it just felt like this is what I was meant to do.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So how long have you been a chiropractor now?
All right. I graduated 2019.
Okay.
So yeah, it was
so 6 years going
coming
on.
up.
Yeah. Yeah. And you just opened your own practice?
Correct. We bought a former 100% chiropractic franchise, and we've gotten out of the franchise to make it our own.
Okay.
So started this week. My fiance, who I met in school, has joined the practice.
Nice.
And yeah. So we have a good dynamic going, and that kind of brings me to what I want to talk about more and open on. Back to our first question too, is like pediatrics and, you know, pregnant moms and car accidents. There's so much to chiropractic that I think this profession is finally getting to a place where we can specialize. And if you think of medical doctors, and we'll take the eye, for example, there's a doctor who focuses on the anterior chamber, the posterior chamber. So such specialized medicine, and I think chiropractic is starting to get specialties that we've grown as a profession enough that we can start to divide our skills, that you're not just one of everything. There's neurology, there's sports, it goes on and on. Yeah.
Let's say, like, prior to, you know, the last few years or whatever, it's more like an injury chiropractor. Like, is that kind of like the philosophy? I feel like, from my perspective, like, chiropractic's like, it was, you know, I have an injury, you're going to go see a chiropractor if you're trying to avoid surgery or something like that, right?
Yeah, the common understanding, and even my understanding before I went into school, was like, hey, you got low back pain, you got a headache, you got car accident, you know, go see a chiropractor. But I've obviously learned so much more to chiropractic and the body that I like to joke with my patients and say, like, I'm not doing anything. Like, it's all you, man. I'm just here to show you the way. So yeah, the body is an amazing tool, and if we can use it right, we can heal, we can run, you know, what was it, 45K or something after only doing Dr. Caleb.
When he did.
What an animal. Props to him.
Was it 43 miles or 45 miles or something like that?
More than I've ever done. Yeah. I used to be a runner. I've never ran that hard. Oof.
No. Yeah. I think the most I did was 15 with Caleb one time. But yeah, I mean, it's you're right. Like, our body is amazing, and so chiropractic is just like freeing up your body to do what it's supposed to do.
Right. Yeah. We call the subluxation, you know, sub below. There's different philosophies. Is lux light? Is it, you know, position? So whatever the definition of subluxation is to you, it is your body having to work harder to process efferent, afferent, if we're getting neurology, just ebb and flow, responding, communicating, reacting. And if our body has to do that in each of the 33 vertebrae, that's taxing you. So taking little torque out of the spinal cord, or looking at it as the whole field and focus, like it's crazy. There's a lot of approaches, and yeah, I think chiropractic is starting to get to that specializing and advancement.
Yeah. So when you're in school and you're learning how to do the adjustments, like, talk me through that process, like, of doing like your first adjustment, and then just like getting better at figuring out what's needed and stuff.
Dr. Dillon was talking about like how you start to feel like you intuitively can pick up on energy, which is bizarre. I don't like getting into the hand wavy side of chiropractic, but I do have to acknowledge it. Walking barefoot on the earth will take away inflammation. Shining a light beam at you heals your shoulder, your tendon. It's weird to think how these little things actually play a huge role in our life and our health. Bizarre. But yeah, my first adjustment, learning and growing from there. So my first adjustment was my cat.
Interesting.
I came home from school. I was in the pool. My cat's laying out there, and I'm going up, rubbing his neck, and just feel his atlas, just seeing how it moves side to side, and noticing one side different, and just a tiny little push. And clunk, felt it, and we just looked at each other and was like, cool.
Yeah. How much time did you spend, I guess, like studying the body, studying the vertebrae, right? Like
you have your first year or so of school, and it's all science. You start with like palpation of the spine and just feeling joint movement and really feeling the difference. And now like I could just put my hand up your spine and know right away, and I can confirm it. That's the fun part of the job, is being the detective mechanic, and figuring out bodies and feeling what it needs. But the first time you ever adjust a person and you have no confidence, your hands are a little shaky, you feel it, they feel it, and finding the rhythm and getting someone to have that kind of like, ooh, well, like that worked, that was great, and building that confidence. I remember the first occiput, so like the base of your skull on your spine. We learned it in class, and we're actually getting to execute it. And we did a pulse oximeter, so measuring the saturation of oxygen in your blood. So the guy had a really, really important exam right after that, and it was like whether you get into clinic or not. So if you mess it up, you got to wait another 3 months to try to take it again.
Okay.
So he was under a lot of pressure. His oxygen level was low, in the 80s for a young, healthy kid. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And pulse ox him, set up, boom, landed the move, right? I want to get back to landing moves. But pulse ox went into the 90s, nervous system, heart rate, everything kind of chilled out. And
like
it was
just right away.
Yeah, and like we have the meter so we can see it in real time.
Yeah.
Really cool. But yeah, kind of switching to landing moves.
Yeah.
Like that's what they teach you. And Dr. Dillon was talking about how you become a mediocre chiropractor from school and really picking up that passion and, honing your craft, the art to it, comes later. And you either figure that out or you're too busy in a book trying to just get the classes done that you really don't have that. Passion's always there, but like the capacity, your brain's is mushed and scrambled. So really taking the time to focus outside of the classroom and hone your craft. And it's a mindset, like some people naturally have talent, but you can also have talent if you're not naturally there. You just got to work a little harder, right? So keeping that mindset open and not getting frustrated with yourself. I remember being frustrated at the beginning, just trying to land moves, try to get people to open up, and you're adjusting healthy young people in school, and then you get out and it's like, oh, I've had this, disc injury for 30 years. Can you get it to move for me? And like, school does prepare you well, but at the same time, you have to apply all these different aspects together: joint movement, muscle tension, where the person's at. Are they ready to let it go? Are they ready to work on it? Such a dynamic, flowing piece of health, of life, of function. It's not static. You always have to work on yourself, keep it moving, and all the other great chiropractors you had on this kind of touched on that, like when's enough to work out? Is this too much? Showing up for yourself. Right. Should I rest? all these crazy things, and there's no easy answer.
Yeah.
But I say you gotta play with yourself. Like, things done in play, you make that pattern in your brain way faster versus just repetition.
Right.
So slowing down and giving yourself that space to grow, learn, and
Just being curious, right? Just
right.
having fun with it.
Yeah.
I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Almost like anything in life, you could like take that approach, right?
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. And then, like, I mean, you kind of touched on this too, right? But not only the skill set that you have to have of like landing the move, right? Is that what you call it, landing the move? But also like with the individual themselves and like getting them to relax or knowing when they're ready and stuff too.
Right. So it started off as landing a move, but after that, it grew to like dancing. Like we have to learn to dance together, and you have to learn to let me lead. And lucky for you, I'm a better adjuster than I'm a dancer. These are my dad jokes. I love cracking.
Yeah. I love it. We were touching on this before, but the idea that chiropractic is changing.
Correct.
Right. Like tell me about like what you've seen since you become a chiropractor. You've kind of been in it for a short time, but just your experience with it, like how is it changing? How is it evolving? And
yeah, I think we're starting to get to specialties and really kind of focus. There's different approaches, there's different techniques. So being able to understand and go down one pathway will really help people understand what chiropractic is, because as a society, we either bastardize us or love us, and there's really no in between.
Yeah.
So the adaptation, the Congress being shut down over healthcare, there's so much at play that I really think if we can get more in the spotlight, a basic way of thinking of it, that we could change our society. Chiropractic is more than just physical ailments. There's the mental component,
right.
Spiritual even. It's there whether you want to acknowledge it or not, and a lot of patients fight that. And coming around and seeing a transformation of that brain-body connection and spirit connection, it's a beautiful thing. Like I wouldn't change my job for anything.
Yeah. Investing is extremely important, but it can also be somewhat confusing. With taxes, asset allocation, stocks, bonds, and funds, to know what to do with all this could be overwhelming. Jacob Wade is a financial coach and will work directly with you to put together a roadmap for your money, for life. Jacob has built a name for himself as a finance expert, and you can find his writings in places like Forbes Advisor, Money.com, Investopedia, and Time.com. But he has a passion for helping people create a clear and simple investment roadmap to buy back their time and retire with confidence. If you could use a financial coach on your team, then simply go to palmharborlocal.com/roadmap to book a call with Jacob today and see if hiring a financial coach could help you crush your 2025 goals. Don't wait to have that same feeling next year of not hitting your financial goals. Connect with Jacob today and let's make 2025 your best financial year yet. I do it once a week right now currently, and I think you always have in the back of your mind, like, do I need to go once a week, or how often do I need to go? Am I doing it too much, or can I back off a little bit? But then every time, and it's same thing with like the podcast life, like anything you kind of do over and over and over again consistently, there's like a little moment where you're like, oh yeah, that's why I'm doing this. Like something changes and you're like, yeah.
It's so insidious that you don't notice your consciousness, your health increasing or decreasing. And it's usually the straw on the camel's back that usually gets you to be like, oh, that's there,
Yeah.
But keeping that kind of clear, open consciousness, you're high functioning, it's easy to take for granted and to get so swamped and boggled down that you don't notice it leaving, you don't notice it coming. So being in that well-adjusted, clear nervous system area, you got to play with it. You got to check in with yourself. When you get up in the morning, stretch, move around, drink your water, slow your breathing, control it, set your intentions. It almost sounds a little like, out there, hippie, but there's something to
working.
it. Yeah. You know, I try to avoid that, but here I am. Yeah.
You're falling for it.
I drank the Kool-Aid.
So talk to me about like injuries, car accidents, because going back to like the way we traditionally thought about chiropractic, it's like that's the only time that you would get it.
Yeah.
Because you did a lot of that like early in your career and still do, or
Correct. Got out of school, worked at the Joint, which was great start to my career. I got my hands hot, as I like to say. Got to touch tons of different types of people, and it was awesome. Sometimes miss it, but you know, it was also grueling work. I got really busy, which was really cool, and
it's great for coming out, like being learning
to get all these people to only want to see you and come more often, and educate them. It was a great experience. I got to help tons of people, and that's why I like personal injury. So getting to that, like I moved back to Florida. The fiance, type A person, had a job before we even got here. Me, I'll figure it out as I go. So I started doing coverage work. If an office needs a doc, they're going out of town, vacation, and started bouncing around the state, doing a couple days here, a couple days there, and wound up in a personal injury clinic in Winter Haven. And they liked me so much, they offered me a job, and I was like, yeah, why not, And started to adjust people straight in accidents, like exclusively, and got to really see like the benefit of bad injuries being healed. Like, you don't have any pain, you don't have any headaches. Like, really? Like, I was, like, I know chiropractic works, but just to see how well it works, it was like, wow.
Yeah, this is cool.
Yeah. So I was doing personal injury for a while, and in school, it's like, oh, you're an ambulance chaser, you're doing it for the money, you're going to mess up the philosophy, lose your principle. And I actually got to do the opposite of that. Like, I got to experience people who had never heard of a chiropractor. Like, I'm only here because my attorney told me to be here, to them being like, when can I come back? Really cool.
So what type, like usually like car accidents?
Yeah, that was some slip and falls and things like that.
And so what happens, like, I guess, to the body? Let's talk about like that. Like, so they get into a car accident, like what's going on with like a sore neck or something?
A sore neck, I just got bumped at a red light. It wasn't that fast. I'll be fine, once the ache goes away. So what really happens is that you have ligaments that cover your entire spine. I call them your passive support system, or the rubber bands that hold everything together. Yeah. And like a rubber band, if you stretch it out, doesn't retain its shape, there can be motion at that segment, and that little translation can start to push out that disc into a lateral recess, most commonly, and start to encroach on a nerve, and that makes the body have to kind of tighten up and protect itself. Your body's smart, it's always trying to take care of you, and to keep you going in the meantime, it will overreact, which beats you up in the long run. So kind of making sure the body isn't just going to that path of least resistance, using your breathing neck muscles as postural muscles and pulling these curves out of order and compressing everything just to make sure it doesn't get worse, or that instability doesn't, kill you in some cases, right? So allowing the body to kind of do what it does naturally rather than the path of least resistance, and just like your brain craves stability. It's going to take it and make it happen. So we're not walking around cockeyed or sideways. So that intelligence that comes with our body, sometimes it needs a little help. If you're just surviving, it's hard to get to thriving. So showing people that path of, this injury happened, sucks, it's going to be with you for the rest of your life. Here's ways to avoid a surgery or an injection. But it takes effort from you. I can show you 50% of the way, you have to finish the other 50. And if I can give you tools that, you might not have noticed this injury for 20 years, but if I show you the way now, you can prevent that from limiting you and your life later in life. Yeah. So very rewarding to get to introduce people who would never have known. Yeah. Just think, hey, my neck's a little sore.
Just help
I'll be all right.
Fix me up.
Yeah.
you kind of touch on this, right? But it's like chiropractic is just a piece of like the overall health of your body, your skeletal system and everything, right? It's just
Right.
freeing things up.
So there's a big divide in our profession between straight chiropractors and mixers, right? People who use other modalities to help. And yeah, I get both sides, but I think the lifestyle we live, the fast paced, sometimes you need more than just an adjustment. The repetition, the time, the stress on your body, like you do really have time to heal. Like you're healing, boom, as soon as you get adjusted. But how long can you maintain that?
Right.
You know, sometimes you need the little extra help, and to get the body to kind of act as a harmonious being rather than its pieces. You know, you get a herniation in your neck, and all of a sudden your shoulders are going to start protecting your neck and not be able to have that full range. I can't look up anymore. I hear that all the time. So just getting the body functional to what it was supposed to do, sometimes that you need a little extra to get there.
I hear people with injuries or like I have a stiff neck or whatever, and they just live with that too. Right?
Yeah, it will go away eventually.
Yeah.
And then they come to me and they're like, I thought it would go away, but here it is 2 months later. And I was going to come here or the hospital, but I saw your office. And, yeah. I'm like, great.
Yeah. So what brought you to Palm Harbor?
So I bought the franchise. My fiance was working for the previous owners in Brandon. They had 2 practices, and we started talking and hit it off. Great guys. And they were like, you know what? We think this would be a great opportunity for you and Dr. Michelle. I was a little skeptical. It was like too good to be true type of thing. But, everything worked out. The seas parted, and, I was on my path. It felt right. Everything kind of lined up, and here I am.
Yeah. When you got into chiropractic, did you ever think you were going to own your own practice?
Yeah. Dr. Augustine, who's nudged me a long way, he'd always drop hints, even when I was a teenager, coming into his office in high school. He would be like, hey, maybe you'll find an old man looking to retire by the time you're ready to graduate.
Yeah.
And so, like, in the back of my mind, like that was my plan. He's got me into it. It would be an honor to carry the torch, And to think I was starting a practice from scratch, like, no, I might have paid attention to those marketing classes a little more if I did,
Yeah.
But yeah, it's fun learning to run a business and get everything going and being in charge of your employees. It's a great learning experience, and you got to wear a lot of hats at once,
Yeah. What's been the hardest thing since opening up the business?
Getting my name out there. I could be the best doc in town, and no one knows. Everyone's walking right next door to Einstein, and like, oh, that's a chiropractic office. And so, just being passionate and keeping my nose to the grindstone. And every time I talk to someone at the gym or whatever, I'm just always like, hey man, like, this is what's going on. There's a way out of it. Let me help you. So I'm just always there trying to believe in what I love and share it with people who are around me, and get to be part of this community now. So it's great. I'm liking it a lot, and I'm trying to move out this way.
Every time I ask that question, like, what's the hardest part about business? It's always something along those, like, marketing, like
breaking out,
a brand out there. Yeah. It's always the difficult piece, and it's, there's so many different ways to go about it, an approach to it. It's always changing, but I think like what you're doing is the key, right? Just building those relationships and
totally
getting them out there.
I want to be here for a long time, so I'm not in it to nickel and dime people and just make money off of selling pillows and all this crazy stuff. I truly want to help people whatever way I can, and once I have my reputation, I plan to keep it. That's what I want to do.
Yeah, I like it. So I wrote down like a couple of myths here, and then I'll just read them out to you. We can talk to them or talk about them. But number 1, chiropractic care is dangerous and painful.
Not dangerous. So we have some of the lowest malpractice insurance out of any doctor, and if we were dangerous, we'd be paying a lot.
Lots of money.
Yeah. So, I mean, if the insurance companies don't charge us more than anestheticians or anesthesiologists, there's something to it.
Yeah,
You know,
it speaks to it. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, your body's got to change. I joke and say if change was easy, I wouldn't have a job. So muscles that have been overly exerted and working overtime, they finally get to relax. You're going to be sore. Like you're going to let out all that lactic acid that you've been building up and metabolites. A lot of pain's already there, and to get a joint to move and relax and get circulation, remove subluxation, it takes work. It's not easy. So yeah, there can be pain associated with, but ultimately,
But good pain. Right?
Yeah,
It's like change. Like anytime you experience change, there's some
uneasy.
difficulty.
Yeah. I joke and say I'm not here to make you feel better. I'm here to help you heal better. You know. So
yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. The next one, chiropractic care is not scientific or effective.
Oh God! Everyone has the internet, right? Like, there's amazing studies out. Too many to quote. From like your body just gets more efficient. So after an adjustment, your immune response improves. Your cellular level, your white cells can go around and do their job better. Your reaction times, all things studied, tested. Heart rate variability, stress tolerance. It's out there. You know, if you don't believe it, then you're not looking hard enough.
Yeah, I think I heard or read this somewhere. Like, wasn't chiropractic care, like, kind of like the main, like, healthcare before kind of like our modern medicine?
A long time ago, 100 years, 126. I forget.
Like 1900s, something like that. Okay.
We're just over the 100 and something year mark for chiropractic. Woohoo!
Yeah.
And it was a magnetic healer. Kind of was trying to do his magnetic healing on a janitor, and noticed by touching his neck that there was a really like tough spot behind his ear. The gentleman fell or something and lost his hearing, and that's how chiropractic came to be. He pushed on this bone, and all of a sudden the guy can hear out of his ear, and that kind of was a turning point to become chiropractic. But there's something called the Flexner Report way back in the day, and do your history, do your own research there, and pretty much how big money changed the way the medical field was set up even back then. So everyone's heard of snake oil salesmen and things like that. This is a melting pot. So cultures all over the world brought their knowledge of herbs and tinctures and remedies, and all of a sudden all this was declared unscientific and just voodoo, if you would. And chiropractic kind of got lumped in with that, and we were jailed as professionals that we were practicing medicine without a medical license. And there's a picture of BJ, the founder, in a prison cell adjusting the guards. So
oh, wow.
Yeah, we went against the grain there, and were punished for it. And there are hundreds of chiropractors who were repetitively jailed. And at Life University, we have our bell tower, and in the bottom of the bell tower is the perfect size of a prison cell. And on the walls is every chiropractor's name who was jailed for practicing.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Like we talked about before, right? But it seems like the tides are shifting.
Yeah.
Since post-COVID or last 5-10 years.
Right. Healthcare in this country is better off being called sick care. You know, How do you get to this wellness state? How do you stay healthy? Like, if your doctor's not talking about your nutrition and your lifestyle and your activity, you know, you just have a drug dealer.
Yeah, chiropractic is only for back pain.
That's our window. That's how most people find us. So not only, but the coolest thing is just to see someone who comes in for back pain get off the table and their eyes are just wide open, and they're like, I feel younger. I feel like I could go run home instead of drive home. That's how you're supposed to feel. And like Insidious, like how each little stressor adds up, and all of a sudden they just are gone. And obviously they come back, but to be in that clear moment, to be a decompressed, clear nervous system, your body's functioning how it's supposed to. Some people are just in awe, like myself.
Yeah,
Still,
yeah.
I get to see that all the time, which is cool.
That's very cool. And like your website does a great job of like listing out all the different, ways chiropractic care can help you, right?
Partly that's to get the word out,
Yeah.
get everyone to kind of see,
It's not just for back pain.
right. There's more to function. There's more to health. You just got to understand it. You got to want to believe it. I don't have time for that, or
Mm-hmm.
you got to make space for your health. If
Mm-hmm.
not, sickness is going to creep in.
Yeah, absolutely. Where can people find you and just learn more about your practice?
Right on. My practice is between Nebraska and Tampa on US 19. The Publix Coral Gables.
Coral Gables? Yeah, sounds right.
I'm still learning here. Shopping center right next to the Einstein.
Yeah,
Yeah.
perfect.
Thank you.
Great location.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, cool, man. Well, thanks for being here.
Oh,
It's
it was fun. This is it. Like it went by like that.
Yeah,
It was awesome.
Easy.
Yeah.
Easy peasy, right?
One more thing I do want to talk about
Yeah.
is pediatrics, is children. Yeah. So when my daughter was born, I adjusted her as she was handed to me, which was pretty neat. A little baby came into the world. Lights are bright. She can't really focus. And I'm like turning her head, seeing how her range of motion is. And I noticed that she can't go left more than right. And I take my little pinky and I sustain contact over her atlas. And I hold it and I move her neck around just very lightly. And it starts to creep in that, hey, this is uncomfortable, this is compressed. So she starts to squirm a little. And in that moment, I'm like, I don't want to cause any discomfort to my child, but I'm like, I also know like this is needed. So I just kind of hold it, and then all of a sudden, just like a tone changes, just a relaxation comes over her, and I shit you not, she looked me dead in the eyes after that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's cool.
I got goosebumps again.
Yeah.
That was a great moment. And then my son, he came out, and I'm feeling him, and I was like, no, he's good. Like
Yeah.
you didn't need one right then.
Well, I mean, it's wild. Like you think about that. Like they're in the womb for 9 months. Like it
Right.
makes sense that they're there might be some adjustments needed, some things that are kind of
and going through the birth canal, that's a little traumatic, Yeah.
Right. It's a big experience, like coming out into the world.
Yeah, so that kind of gets to where I want to go with this, is that there's things called primitive reflexes, right? Things that are innately in us to respond so we survive. Put your hands down if you're going to fall, things like that, right your head. And these primitive reflexes develop into postural reflexes, right? Posture, we could have a whole topic on that. That's yeah. So it's just innate ways that our brain develops to keep us going, running the background machines. And if they aren't kind of integrated, is a good word, they don't cross over. So you kind of get stuck in certain modes. Little things like tiptoe walking, unable to cross the midline, lack of fine motor movements, all can be a result of kind of retained primitive reflexes. So it could be trauma of the birth, not being able to move while you're in gestation. All these little things can add stress or trauma that now manifest as the body is unable to adapt.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, kids getting adjusted is super important to make sure they're developing even like ailments, colic, constipation, not sleeping. All things can affect it through the nervous system, just a healthy, functioning, regulated nervous system.
Yeah.
And it's not like I'm, adjusting a 300-pound man the same way as a
It's a little bit
3-pound baby.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if they're premature, of course.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have little tools. Force is mass times acceleration. So if I have a lot of acceleration and no mass behind it, or very little, I can still generate a big force, but it doesn't feel super pressurized.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, just kind of light, more adjustments, and back to mom while they're still inside. If we can get the hips to align, the hips are connected to the uterus through a suspensory ligament called the round ligament. So if there's distortion there, baby might not be able to flip over. Get ready, breach, all this, very traumatic. So chiropractic helps with the functioning of the mom, and baby mom connection and communication kind of gives the signal, hey, it's time, it's ready. Create the room, create the shape, form follows function.
It's like chiropractic care, I feel like is important.
Yeah.
And it's good that it's becoming understood.
The research in the field, the acceptance, the understanding outside the field, know.
Is that newer too? Like the understanding of like how much chiropractic care can change your health and your body?
Yeah, a great researcher, Heidi Havoc. She is a chiropractic researcher and tests all the hypotheses and puts science to what we've known. We notice this is affecting your nervous system. Now we understand how.
Okay.
So connecting the dots, people have believed I've seen great things, crazy things happen from allowing the nervous system to regulate itself and get back to equilibrium. So just understanding how that actually happens is pretty fascinating.
Yeah. So we've kind of known that it does certain things, but now we're like having a better understanding of like exactly
how exactly is that working.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And the pediatric stuff is great. I know my daughter's been adjusted, our oldest a couple of times, so it's valuable.
Yeah. So my specialty was more of like restoring function, more sports and injury related, whereas my fiance was more of the pediatrics, the moms. So we have it all at our office. There's a little bit of everything that we know. So we're pretty diverse in our studies, and I'm never going to stop. I'm always going to keep learning.
Yeah, I love it, man.
Yeah, I don't want to lose my passion. There's a lot of chiropractors out there who have, and they're like, you'll get there. And I'm like, no, no, thank you.
Yeah, I think it's just a mindset, right? Like of continuing to educate yourself and learn about your profession or marketing, business, like whatever it is, to
rise to the challenge. Yeah,
stay sharp and keep growing. So cool. Thanks for being here.
Oh, I really appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah. I checked out your podcast and I was like, wow, this guy's got a happening voice in this community. Like, it's an honor to be here.
Cool.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Palm Harbor Local. We are incredibly grateful for our sponsors who make this show possible, so let's be sure to keep supporting these local businesses. Until next time, stay connected, stay involved, and keep making Palm Harbor an amazing place to call home.